Welcome back to Brilliant Fools. It is Tuesday, Technical Tuesday, and you can't tell it's Technical Tuesday by the shirt I'm wearing because it's not a colored shirt because I wasn't wearing one already and I didn't feel like changing. So we are just here today as we are. On this Tuesday, I want to go over some of the foundational aspects or some of the building blocks uh, of your business as it goes on behind the scenes. So if you like alliteration, the building blocks behind the scenes. There you go. Yeah, we'll go with that. So this is okay. First of all, there's one foundation that's laid, and that is Christ. And that's his death for us, his death that saves us, gives us his Holy Spirit that gives us power to go out and to do for his purposes. But as we're going out and doing, wisdom is also what we want to build with. And I think this is what some of these foundational and building block essentials really are. This is the structural part, right? So this is part of if you're building a building, you're going to lay the foundation, and then on it you're going to build your frame. You're going to have your electrical, your plumbing. You're going to have the inner workings of the system, and this is what a lot of the inner workings are. So the building blocks, if you will. This is not the stuff that makes it look real nice, so it's not necessarily the most fun things, but these are some of the most fundamental things. See what I did there? Fundamental. Ah! Okay, I think I put the mental and fundamental more than I put the fun in there. But first of all, let's go with the simple knowledge that, okay, I have a business now. I have something that I know is a business and I'm going to use it as a business. I'm going to go with it. What do I need to do with that? Like, do I need to register it? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Yes, registering is going to be important for a multitude of reasons. How you register it is a different kind of question, right? And the first thing I'm going to do is register it with the state. And I'm going to assume this is a closely held business. So we're talking about LLCs, S corporations, partnerships, things like that. If you have a C corporation, you can dig a little bit deeper into it, where you want to register, because you can have different favorable, even tax favorable states and non-tax favorable states. So identify what the state laws are if you're required to file there as well. But first of all, if I'm going to go to register it, where do I even go? I'm going to go to the Secretary of State's page, and I'm going to do it for my particular state. So let you see that here. I am in Georgia. So I just went to Google. I typed in Georgia, or GASOS, abbreviate the state, put in SOS, that's Secretary of State. And the first thing that comes up is the Secretary of State homepage. The business search also comes up for me, but I just kind of want to show you how to navigate this because your Secretary of State's homepage might be different. So in Georgia, this is just an example. I go here and then I see the business section here, right? Okay, click on business. I'm just going to go to the corporations division because it's going to have everything that I need there. And I'll show you that when I click on it, but you've got several options here. Search for a business, create a domestic entity, etc., etc. And by the way, you can see I don't know if you can see that or not, but the address here is sos.ga.gov, and it may just be sos.wy.gov for Wyoming or az.gov for Arizona. I'm not positive on that, honestly. I don't think I've really paid that much attention to the URL of these Secretary of States. But also understand if it's like Secretary of States or if you have like the franchise board in California, it may be a little different. But if I search for start a business in Georgia, I probably get this as well, but I also probably get a lot of fluff and a lot of advertising. So I'm going to go to the corporations division. And when I navigate down to the corporations division, the very first option on these big buttons here, featured services, is start a business. I can go with that, but the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the business that I want to start is not already in existence. So I'm going to do a business search. And I have this little search function here. So it says contains, starts with contains, exact match. I just want to make sure that I have nothing that contains Flat Moon. Flat Moon LLC is what I'm going to start. I don't know if you knew this, but the Earth is round. The moon is flat. So just keep that in mind. People don't know that. They get that wrong. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know if that's something that people need to know, that I'm kidding. I hope not. Humor's a thing, right? Okay, moving on. So nothing exists for that. When I search for that, it comes up nothing. It comes up, I have no data found. All right, so I can start that business, and I could start it under that name, Flat Moon LLC, start a business. I get this little guide here. How do I form a domestic entity? Select your structure first. What am I going to start? Am I going to start an LLC, a corporation, a limited partnership? Am I going into it with... So if it's just me and I just want an LLC, something that separates me from the business, I'll do an LLC. If I want to incorporate, then I'll do the corporation. Could be me, could be multiple. But if I have more than one person and we're not incorporating, then yeah, I probably want the limited partnership here. There are some other things, but they've got a good list here, at least in the state of Georgia, just some ideas of getting into the details if you want to get into the details. If you know what you're doing, I'm going to click register a domestic LLC with the Secretary of State. Something good to know is when it says domestic and foreign on the state side of things, it doesn't mean like in the U.S. or not in the U.S. This is talking about as it relates to the state. So this is inside of Georgia, I'm creating this entity, or if I'm creating an entity outside of Georgia, but I need to register it in Georgia for whatever reason, then that's a foreign entity. So I could be in Alabama and need to register it in Georgia. It's still going to be considered a foreign entity, not just because Georgia considers Alabama a foreign place. Is that humor? I don't know if that's humor. But it's going to tell you all these kinds of things. All right, what do I need to do? Overview. So look at the overview, get prepared, do all the things that I need to do, gather what I'll need, create and file registration. If you register online, your articles of organization are going to be electronically generated for you. Keep that in mind. A lot of people are going to want to have those done for you. There's going to be a charge. There's going to be a charge while you do it. But under this register online drop down, we now have Secretary of State's online services page, and I can register here. Annual registration with changes is there, or if I go to this, I've got to create an account. You got to create an account so they know who you are and where you're going. It is not as difficult as it seems. You can do it. If you need help with it, don't worry about it. I'll be here. And you've got plenty of people who want to help you with it. You don't necessarily need those online filing peoples, but we'll get into that a little bit more. Okay, let's put it this way. If you have one of those do-it-yourself online filing places, they're likely not doing a whole lot more for you than you would if you just go to your state's registration site and do it yourself online. So just keep that in mind. But you may have more peace of mind that way. Okay, so you've registered with the state. Let's assume you've done that. We've taken up enough time on that. Now you want to get an EIN. So that's an employer identification number, or TIN, if you want to think of it that way, taxpayer identification number, for your business specifically. The EIN doesn't mean that you are employing somebody. It just means that you have the number that identifies your business. So go to irs.gov, irs.gov. Go to this search bar in the top right here and type in EIN, hit enter. The first thing that's going to come up is information about an EIN. I've already done this before, so it's highlighted for me. Apply for an employer identification number online. And I hit that. I have the information here. Read through it. Read through what you need. You need to know what your business entity type is. If you have whatever your responsible party is, you need to have that social security number, right? or taxpayer ID if there's a different taxpayer ID. It is possible for a business to register another business in certain circumstances. And then if you're third-party designee, you've got to have a signed authorization or sign off for someone else to do this for you. And then click this blue button that says apply for an EIN and you'll be taken to it. The IRS website is not pretty, but it's functional at this point, and you begin the application, get it done. Now you've got an EIN you can take to the bank. You can get a bank account started. You can do all those sort of things. It is not as difficult as it may seem. That's the main thing I want to put into play here. You can do it. If you have any kind of thoughts that you might not be able to, you can. You really can. But at the same time, if you want someone else to do it, get it off your plate and have somebody else do it if you have that means already there. Your accountant can do it. A lawyer can do it. There's several people that can get that done for you. Speaking of lawyers, what about your operation agreement, your operating agreement, or your bylaws for, depending on if you have an LLC or a partnership or a corporation, your partnership agreement even, what do you need to have in place? This is far more important depending on if your state requires it. Obviously, you want to do that. If you have others that are involved in the business, then it's more important than you might think. Whether it's legally required or not, it's something you want to have. Especially if you have a partner, whether you're a corporation or not, have some sort of agreement in place that defines the relationship. Have a DTR in place in writing that says, this is who we are. This is what the business is. This is our roles in it. This is our ownership. This is et cetera, et cetera. Make sure it's clear and written down. If for no other reason, even if everybody's trying to do things right, things get forgotten over time, and you can go back and refer to these things. Me personally, in order to get that done, I'm just going to search for a template for it. Or I can have an AI like ChatGPT set it up for me. Say, give me a basic template for a partnership agreement. And it's going to set things in place that are a basic template. It's going to give you the disclaimer, just like I'm giving you here. This is not legal advice. But here's a sample template of what it might look like. Take that and use it as a framework to start with. And then you're not reinventing the wheel. The AI is searching the web for the templates that are already out there and already available. You're just not throwing your email out there to get more newsletters that you're never going to read if you're like me. Or if you do read them all, then that may be an issue as well. You may want to step off of that and start renewing your mind with the word instead. But anyway, you kind of just get to skip a step or two or three if you have AI set it up for you, but it may not be complete. So if there's more that you need, seek some legal advice. That's going to be my non-legal advice for you, is seek legal advice, especially if you have more than one person involved. This is not just to protect yourself, it's to protect the other person as well. It's to protect all the parties involved. It's just wise to do, generally wise. So identify those things and get those things done. Your shareholder, your partner agreements for corporations and partnerships, those are important to have because we don't remember everything, and sometimes we remember things selectively. As much as we'd like to not do that and say we don't do that, yeah, we can have selective memories. So, and I say this because I've seen it. I've seen these issues pop up, and things get ugly. It's always better to have lawyers involved beforehand than afterwards. If you have them involved afterwards, that means you're in a mess at that point. So, another thing that's important to have is your minutes. So your meeting minutes, whether you meet annually, quarterly, monthly, whatever. If it's just you, if you're the only one in the business, sole prop or single member LLC, this may not be as important, but it's good to look. What I like to do is in my quiet time and as I'm planning, I'm praying and then I'm writing down where God's directing my thoughts, where God's directing my heart, my decisions and desires. Writing them down, weighing them against Scripture, making sure, this isn't just me, but it is the Lord directing it. And so even if it's just me, I've got minutes that go down, right? And it can be as simple as that. If you have more than one person meeting, if you have a board, or if you have more than one owner or shareholder or partner, just have a recording device. So whether that's a Zoom meeting that's recording things, or you just pop your phone out and hit the recorder on it, let it record things. You can have AI summarize it for you as well. There's a lot of AI summary tools. And at least you have that there just in case you ever need to go back to it for whatever reason. There may be no disagreement whatsoever, but you may say, and this happens so many times in meetings, hey, what did we talk about back when, this, that, or the other? We talked about something and I just can't remember what that is. Well, now you got meeting minutes to go back to, right? Licenses and permits. And maybe this should have gone back with the registration. But that's okay. We're getting to it now. Make sure any licenses or permits that you need are current, and you may have to check even more local than the state level. Some counties, some cities even have certain business licenses you need to have. There are some areas that have townships, and the township level may have something like that. Check into it just to see that it may not have anything that you need, and it may only be if you have a brick and mortar business that's going to sell product, then you have to have this business license. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. And if you're operating out of your house, you may not need one. But you might. And it's better to go ahead and have it and pay the $100 or whatever, $60, or maybe more than that, depending on where you are, than to be fined and end up having to pay $500 or $1,000 later, right? Do you need any certifications for the work that you're doing? There are things that need to be certified in certain places, and having that set up is good from the get-go. If you are not certified yet and you're starting to realize I might need some certifications, get on that. Get on that. It's a wise thing. Not to mention, if you've already done the work for long enough, getting a certification can be a breeze at that point because you already know the answers to most of the stuff if you've been doing the work long enough. So go ahead and do that. Do you need any other kind of basic compliance? That's basically the question there. Make sure all your compliance issues are settled. That's going to be so much easier to build on. If you don't have that and you start building, I'm thinking of a client I had who was an electrician, and he was pretty big. Now, he did have his necessary certifications and licenses. Everything was cleared. But I know others who haven't had that, and they've still done it, and then they start hiring people on and bringing people on with them. At some point, there's going to be increased scrutiny. Why even have that weight on your shoulders? Why even have it hanging over your head? Get done what you need to get done. Go from there. Sometimes you can just add somebody else to payroll who's already certified and have it taken care of. Identify what you need and get it done so you can scale, so you can grow. Now let's talk about one of the last things which you may not always think about, especially if you're getting started in business or you're fairly young. What about the succession? What about an exit plan or a succession kind of agreement, succession plan in place for if you're not there? What happens? And it may be that you have no intentions of selling at all whatsoever. You may have no intentions of getting out of the business at any point in time. That's fine. What happens if you, I had a boss who liked to say, win the lottery. If you win the lottery, I don't like that as much because a lot of people, they're not going to leave what they do if they win the lottery. What if you get hit by a truck? That's the thing this guy was trying to avoid. My boss was trying to avoid the negative connotations, but I mean, come on, let's be realistic here. You could die any day. I could die any day. What's going to happen after that? This is typically if your business is established a little bit. It's starting to go, it's starting to move, you've got some income, or you have a lot of income. It's part of being able to build it well is to have that succession plan. What's going to happen if I'm not there? You don't necessarily need it, but it's almost if I'm building a house and I have a backup generator or something like that, that's going to last a little while. It's going to kick on if the power ever goes out. That could be helpful, right? It's not the best analogy, but that's the one that's come to my mind. So that's what we're going to go with. So it may seem useless, but it is very important. And understand this, a lot of very simple things, back of the napkin writings and sign it and date it, they can pass legal muster at that point. And that may be purely good enough and wholly acceptable for you, especially at a smaller business level. As you grow, that might be something that you want to get a little deeper into the weeds with. Have a lawyer get a little deeper into the woods, get some legal advice to help walk you through some of that. And really just identify with yourself, with whoever else owns the business or is a shareholder or a partner with you, spouse. What do you want to happen when it's done? Or what do you want to happen when you're done with it? Whatever that done may look like. What do you want to happen? Because if you can identify that, then you can start identifying what you need to put down on paper. This business will go to so-and-so. It's almost like a will at that point. If I die, the business is going to this person. That may not be your kids. They may not want it, or you may not want them to have it for good reasons. It could be an employee. It could be spouse. Or it may be that you want to build the business to sell it. All right, what's that going to look like? If you can decide now early enough, you can start planning for that. And then understand, a man plans his way in his heart, but the Lord directs his steps. So we plan our way, and then we be flexible for however the Lord might direct it. And whatever he's got in mind is going to be better than whatever I have in mind anyway, because it's going to be far above whatever I can ask or imagine. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be wonderful. So I hope to see that for you. As always, I'm available if you have any questions. Just reach out to me. You can leave comments on the podcast, and I'll respond to those. You can reach out and schedule a call with me. I'd love to talk with you. And until next time, I hope this has been helpful. Talk to you later.